Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Let's talk moto. So today is D-Day. The Supercross season for 2021 gets underway, and we've covered who we would say are the top three riders in terms of everyone's favorites over the first three sessions. But now we're going to just do a little bit of a deep dive into what I would say is a bit of a dark horse, and that is Justin Barcia. The move from Yamaha to Gas. Is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing? What has it done for him? Can he become a serious contender for the title? Or is he going to be the typical Bam Bam that we know and throw in the odd good result and be a little bit inconsistent? Well, let's take a look at some of the positives and negatives here for Justin Bam Bam Barcia as we head into the night session, where we, I'm sure, waiting with much anticipation as to who's going to step out in front of the field. I must just add here, we're running out of time to do a little bit of a deep dive into Adam Sensorillo, but I have to say that with the way he starts and current form, I think he's the odds-on favorite to win tonight in Houston, or at least win one of the rounds in Houston. So we'll probably cover that once we go through the race in the next couple of days, and if he has one, well, there we go. The tip was made just before the racing start. But let's take a deep dive into Justin Bam Bam Barcia, and on that Red Bull Trulli Designs Gas team, and a lot of hype around it. I think I can just start by saying a little bit about the Gas brand, and it is really a fresh injection of energy into the sport of motocross. It is a Spanish brand, obviously been bought recently now by Stefan Pira under the KTM group, so lots of shared parts there. But just like Husqvarna, Gas will go its own way and do its own little developments here or there with suspension and subframes and bodywork and you name it. But it will share a lot of common parts with the KTM. Now, is this a good or a bad thing for Justin Barcia? Well, so far in the videos we've been watching now of him training, he looks so comfortable on the bike. It's looked like the best move he's made in years. And probably the main reason for that is that the Gas under the KTM brand runs a steel frame. A lot more forgiving. And those of us who know Bam Bam so well, he is not a neat and tidy rider. He is a give 150% all the time type of rider. Everything is an excess. So he needs a chassis that is a little more forgiving for him. So when he's not 100% perfect, it's kind of not twitching around all over the place, but being a little more forgiving. So like in all the other videos, let's start at the start with Justin Barcia. And this has been a little bit of a strange thing for him. And I'm not sure if it was a Yamaha thing or a Justin Barcia thing. But there would be days where he was guaranteed top three out of the start, and it looked like he was a whole shot king his whole life, and then other days where he was absolutely nowhere. You didn't even see him through the first turn and wondered where he was in the results. So consistency for the starts is what he's going to have to look for, and I think he might be able to get that with the Gas. Now, why I say that, it has probably a little bit more a smoother power delivery than the Yamaha. The Yamaha really delivered heaps and heaps of power really quickly and off that grid and onto the dirt. Maybe made it pretty hard for it to stay in a straight line and get good drive to the first turn. This Gas is going to grip nicely off the grid, and I think where it's really going to count is like we spoke about with Cooper Wegg, that next 5 meters or so. And I think if he can get his elbows in front of everyone, of course he's going to be aggressive through the first turn. He is very determined this year to prove that his move to Gas was a good choice for the brand. Obviously now under Red Bull as well, so a lot of added extra hype and expectation, I think, from Justin Barcia, not to just be the flash in the pan, but to be a consistent front runner. So more consistency off the start. I think he is a nice hard hitter out of the gate, and I think now with that steel chassis, it's going to be able to not twitch around too much, be able to get a lot better drive to the first turn. He's going to be aggressive through turn one. Where does he start? Well, as he is not the best of starter all the time, he's probably better to be closer to the box. Would be a good place for him to start, maybe just slightly inside of that. And we'll see how that goes tonight, whether he picks that area or if he's feeling so confident he's going to go for that inside line. Make no mistake, he's going to fight his way through the first turn. He is going to be very aggressive in the first couple of corners as well. He wants to make headway very early on in the race. He has worked exceptionally hard in the off-season. In fact, we had rumours that Roger da Costa was telling him to back off from the training. He had done more laps than what his training actually required him to do, and they were worried he was going to burn out. So we know that he's in good condition. We know he loves the bike. That could be something to watch out for. When it comes to the corners, what you can notice with Justin Barcia, traditional cornering style on entry, but what you do see is like typical Bam Bam Barcia style, just excessive in everything, and gets on the throttle harder than anyone else, which caused a little bit of problems in the past. And the Yamaha, the back end sliding around a lot of the time, breaking ruts. Bam Bam's always the guy that destroys the track. He's pushing through ruts, but in just watching the press session at Houston already, it just looks like that bike is tracking through the ruts. The soil looks ultra grippy at the moment, and I think if he's that hard on the throttle through those grippy ruts and with that forgiving chassis of the gas, wow, is he going to be fast. Certainly a force to be reckoned with going into the night session. The whoops, Justin Barcia is one of the better ones, we can say. He has had his issues now and again with it, but pretty much if the whoops are staying in good condition, we know that he's out there, he's going to match everyone to the best. This is probably the one bit, however, where he might still take a little bit of time getting used to. You know, your timing sections and triples and corners and all that is one thing, but being able to go through the whoops consistently, you know, when the whoops start to cup out on the top, this is probably going to be a little bit of experimenting for Justin Barcia as the night goes on, and it could be the one thing that catches him out a little bit. We'll have to keep an eye on that going into the race. Super stylish on the jumps. We've already seen in the press session massive whips at the crowd. He looks super comfortable on the bike, and we're looking for more style out there as the qualifying and the sessions go on in Houston tonight. All right, final thing, confidence. I think that this move has put him in a mind space or a head space that is probably better than where we've seen him for the last 4 years or so, 3-4 years. So I think that he's feeling very confident, and let's hope not overconfident. And obviously, as the brand is really pushing the fun element of it, let's hope that it's not going to go into too much excess of just over the top everything for Justin Barcia. The season is long, so although he's going to go and have fun, he's going to push the limits. Hopefully he can keep a calm head to realize it's a long season as well, and then he needs to put those results out week in and week out. So confidence in his headspace. I think everything's looking good. The bike's good, the team's good, a lot of knowledge behind that team in terms of bike setup and that. So I think Justin Barcia, well, my prediction for this race is that it's going to be a top 5, maybe even a heat race win. Top 5 in the final. As we go into tonight's event, I just want to make a quick prediction of who I think is going to be up there. I think it's going to be Adam Cianciarulo. I think it's going to be Cooper Webb, and I think Chase Sexton. I think possibly Eli Tomac 4th, Bam Bam Barcia 5th. Then I suppose it could be Ken Roczen, but it's anyone's race from there. Let's see how the other rookies, Dylan Ferrandis, how he's feeling after his injury. But anyway, that's my pick. I think Cianciarulo and Chase Sexton are not the hot shot favorites, but I think they're going to surprise everybody right up there. I could be completely wrong, but just watching the build up to this, I think those are the guys that are on form. Right, thanks for tuning in. Make sure you tune in again next week for the post-race follow-up and review. It's going to be an important one. We're going to take a deeper dive into what we picked out. We're probably going to go through snippets of the race itself and just see exactly who made what mistakes and who was exceptionally good in certain areas. Also, just last thing before we tune out, the track itself is a typical opener. It doesn't look overly challenging, but I think it is going to break up. That could be where the challenge comes. So let's wait and see. And last thing as well, before we go out, Zach Osborne had that big crash in the press evening. Not feeling 100%, so let's see what he does. We know his starts are good. If he gets a good one, I think he'll be up there. If not, he'll be just looking to get some points. Thanks again for tuning in. Make sure you hit that like button and subscribe, and we'll keep you up to date with all the latest in-depth reviews coming from Supercross, Motocross, and Enduro.